start reading our Bibles a little more, praying a little more. And you know, the original diet that God gave man back there in Genesis, you can read the first chapter of the Bible. And if you didn't know any more than that, seriously, if you didn't know any more than that, and what it translates into today's food, you'd be pretty healthy. Pretty healthy. And there are people that live like that today. We call them aborigines. That's a nice big word for the university campus here because you have to go to the dictionary to find out what it is. These are people that are not in the Western civilization. They're called primitive people. And back in the late 30s, Dr. Price, a dentist who was the health officer for the government, he, being a dentist, was interested in health, of course. And he sent 14 studies around the world, 14 groups around the world, to do research. And what they did, they came up with 14 different studies that all said the same thing, that the primitive diet was the most healthful diet to be on. And what he did, examined all these folks, made a little group in each group, like in Georgia, Russia, he did the Huns of people, he did some in South America, he did some in Africa, he did some in Australia, in the outback land, okay? And he put these folks for 1 year on the all-American diet. Well, now you know what the all-American diet is, right? Before McDonald's came along, it was white flour, white sugar, you see, and oil, and a lot of refined products. Nothing really in the natural field, as far as all the garden on your table, okay? And so the children now born, all these groups now, during that year, 85% had facial deformities, unlike their previous siblings, okay? And some even had cleft palates and cleft feet, unheard of in these various peoples. Then after a year, off of the program, back on their original diet again, then the children born to these mothers during the test were all like their previous children before the test. They had no facial deformities, and their teeth were well spaced, and of course no cavities. And so they followed these folks for about 14 years, documented quite well. And they found that these children born during that year on the all-American diet, developed a lot of the same problems that we have today, including diabetes, which was not heard of at the time. So malnutrition, we're going to have to say, starts in utero. That's before you have anything to say about it. And so mothers, you know, today are being quite a bit younger than they used to be. A lot of them are single-parent mothers, and they're mothers in distress, and they're not providing children with a proper diet. So what do you think is going to happen to our health system and the demands upon it in a few short years? It's going to escalate. And that's what's happening. It already has escalated. So we're here to tell you that there's a better way to live. And we have a lot of children being born today that are brought up the 10 talents way. And I have to say they're pretty healthy. They're pretty healthy. We brought our family up that way, and they're very healthy. Our children didn't have childhood diseases, lumps, what we call all this kind of thing. And neither do these primitive people have those childhood diseases either, you see. So there's something about the immunity of natural food that even takes care of that, even with exposure to that. So that says a lot right there, doesn't it? You see, they have to have a better immune system to handle all that, which is generally true in just the general public at large. So, actually, going back, that's why when you go back to that, now, basically, I'll tell you what happened with these studies before the World War II came along. All these studies got chucked into some libraries or into some files. And you know what was said? Those were very good studies. And that was it. Nobody ever did anything about it. See? Well, I sort of wrote a book and made a few references to it. And that's how I happened to get interested in finding out about it. Or I probably wouldn't have found it, you see. These studies have all been done. As a matter of fact, we've had studies being done now today. And one of the big things we have is the osteoporosis of women after 40. You know, that's in quite a few articles recently, newspapers, and all these kind of things. And we find that there's a big thing going on now with supporting with hormonal therapy and all that kind of thing. Well, basically, what do you think happened to all the people before that study came along? Did they all have osteoporosis? Some of them did. so just stop and think about it. At that age, you can turn your whole life around. You know, I had a jump start on a lot of you folks because I became vegetarian when I was 9 years old. Only one of my family. They thought I was crazy. They don't think I'm crazy anymore because they're gone. Yeah, I'm still living. But then in any event, while they were living, they really did come to realize that I wasn't quite so crazy. Because I've never been in the hospital for sickness. The only time I've been in the hospital was because of accidents. And I had an accident 2 years ago where I fell on the ice and broke my hip. Kind of a freak thing. And went in for surgery, and in 2 weeks I was back in my office treating patients, walking around like you didn't have a broken hip, right? And they never saw that before. See? I was only 1 day in the hospital just to get it repaired. Didn't take any drugs, no medications, no pain meds, not even my own. And healed up. You can't even see where the leg was broken. Didn't even make a callus. Healed right up like it's supposed to. You see? That's a result of healthful living. You see? And that's where we ought to be healing up. Now, we see people that don't heal up for months. And we put them in PT. We do all kinds of things trying to get the bones to heal. We had to use magnets down the arm because she had just poor circulation. Finally got it to heal. I mean, you know, that's really not the best thing, but this is what we work with. You see? All these deficiency programs. So, backing it up, being 9 years old, I've studied vegetarianism backwards, forwards, upside down, and sideways. So I can give you all the answers that you want to know. But it doesn't help. It doesn't help unless you put into practice some of the things that you can relate to. It doesn't have to be everything, you see. If you do one thing a week that represents a change in your lifestyle, how many weeks are there to a year? 52. So your next birthday, you can say I've had 52 what? Exposures to something new that I haven't done the year before. Now that's a lot of exposure. If you took 52 pictures of yourself, you'd think, well, look at it. And I would dare say, if you took a picture of yourself when you started, and a year later, I think you'd be pleased. I think you'd be pleased to see how it turned out. It wouldn't all be negative. As a matter of fact, we put our program one time, the wife was supposed to take the pictures. And you know, she snapped all these nice pictures. And we got home and opened the camera, and there was no filming. Now you see, we're so positive with what we do that we didn't even take time to check the negatives in the camera. You see, you've got to be positive about life. It's essential for your nervous system. It's essential for your thinking. In these primitive countries, where they don't have so many complex things to deal with, we do, there's no such thing as anxiety. There's no such thing as stress. They're happy and healthy. So, do we say now, because we have all the modern inventions that can do all the work for us, that we get stressed out? Is that a reason why we shouldn't feel well? No, all the more reason why we need to have something that we can eat, feel up on, that will cause us to handle the problems that we have. Isn't that right? That only makes good sense. So we need vital food. Now, vegetarianism is on the increase. There's been quite a few articles written in various magazines. Matter of fact, National Geographic, Time, U.S. News and World Report, almost all the papers carry articles almost every day on something about health, or some test, or some study they've done. But you see, when you read a newspaper today, you don't think about it, well, tomorrow, because you've got tomorrow's newspaper that you're going to look at, so you're going to forget about yesterday. See what happens? That was news yesterday, so now what's the news today? This is a new study today. And so what happens is you get so used to reading the news and all the statistics, it doesn't ever become personal. It's just another news item. It was a good study. And it's chucked into the file 13 situation. So it never or seldom is put into practice. So what has to be done is something more than reading the newspaper. And so there's a statement written about 100 years ago or so that it says science never converted a soul. In other words, science doesn't have the ability to make you change your lifestyle. It doesn't have the ability. It has the ability to produce facts, challenge how you think about God, how He created you? You think anybody would challenge that? The evolutionist might, but what does he know about creation? All he knows is about theories. He hasn't got his feet on the ground. You see? So we believe a person should be a creationist. We came from someplace. Oh, you don't think so? Look back to your ancestors. How much have you changed in 4,000 years? The good book says, Psalm 9 verse 10 says, you got 70 years. Peradventure by good luck, help you have 10 more. You maybe have 8. You know that's been true for 4,000 years? 4,000 years it's been true. There's been no conditions mentioned why you have that 70, 80 years. There is none. There's no restrictions, and there's no count that tells you how you're going to have it. God said you've got that much time. Now you can abuse your wife for even 90 years. I mean, I know some folks down in the South smoking corncob pipes, 92 years old. Smoked since she was 8 years old. She's still alive. Well, see, I couldn't have her come up here to teach you how to be healthy. You see? But she's going, right? I can show you folks that have done everything perfect in their health. Good dietary, everything going well. And they wind up with cancer at 80. And they've done everything good. You see? But the fact of it is, if you start out and do something about your health at any age, you can improve the quality of your life. You can improve the capacity of your mind to be happy and healthy. You know, how many negative thoughts do we have a day? Think about it. Are we always positive? Are we always cheerful? Are we always happy? Or do things bother us? Do people bother us? Do circumstances bother us? You see? Like a lady comes to see me, she says, well, I got a headache, I got a backache, and everything everybody says to me bothers me. I can't even stand what my husband's telling me anymore. Or what my children tell me. See, this is what we get. See? And so I say, well, who says you're supposed to live like that anyway? You see? Well, what created that? See? Habits. Lifestyle. So we change their lifestyle and everything else changes. Now they're happy and cheerful again. Didn't give any medicine. Just change their food. Just change their habits. Make sure they got plenty of rest. You see? The laws, we say the laws of nature are the same thing as the laws of God. God says don't lie, don't steal. Well, the laws of nature is just as important. You know, you're going to go up on 12 foot, you accidentally tip over, go down, you're not going to go tip over and go up. You're going to tip over and go down. That's the law of nature. You can't reverse that. It's fixed. It's a fixed law. Well, you have fixed laws in your body. You see? A fixed law says your body needs a glass of water a day because you're 80% water. It's a fixed law. Now, some people drink a lot more than 8 glasses of polluted water a day. And I don't mean things they got out of the well or the spring or the river. The things that they put like coffee and pop, Kool-Aid, all these other things, that's polluted water, folks. Without the fish bowl, the fish would die. They said, you polluted us. See? But we're out of the fish bowl drinking it, and we're sick. And that's okay, because we've managed to survive. So where do we start? Well, actually, we're advocating there's a very simple way to start. Take inventory of your own habits. No one responds very well to somebody else telling them what to do, especially when you become a teenager. That's saying nothing about an adult. See, teenagers, they like Huck Finn, you know. His dad got smarter as he got older. Kind of amazing how that happens. Well, that's the way it is in our society, see. So the time we get to be an adult, we have to take inventory ourselves and then start telling ourselves where the changes are being made. So that's really the best way. Because somebody else tells you, well, it's going to find a corner somewhere, you know, and it's going to be a situation you don't like. Now, the advocating of eating your way being the only way to good health wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair. Because there's other things you have to look at. For instance, how much rest do you get? Are you resting 8 hours a night? Are you going to bed at the right time? that possible? Do you go to bed before 10 o'clock? Well, if you do, your endorphins have an opportunity to get built up. Between 10 and 12 is the optimum time for that to happen. And endorphins have a lot to do with your personality, a lot to do with your emotional stability, see, as well as your immunity. And so today we have to say that 50% of our population, without any cause, is malnourished in some area. In some area of their lives, they're malnourished. They're not getting the right vitamins, they're not getting the right proteins, or they're getting overloaded with toxic ones that they can't handle. And it creates problems. All the food we're eating is going into fat deposition rather than muscle activity. You see, we got all these things to think about. So at least 50% of our population took a poll and did a complete health index. You know, the 500 questions, you come up short. No question about it. And if you did blood tests, you probably come up short. Okay. So that's why we're so concerned about folks just understanding that the natural laws aren't to be understood. And you need to study about that. You need to understand how much sleep you're getting and what kind of sleep you're getting. Eating a meal before you go to bed can give you a nightmare. Simple as that. Or it can cause restless, where you won't be feeling well rested when you wake up in the morning. You see? And that's to say nothing but all the habits that people have today that are very injurious. Tea, coffee, alcohol, smoking. I mean, we don't have facilities for that. We use our facilities by abusing our facilities. But we don't have any legitimate facility for anything like that. When I was a kid, they used to get me with that kind of thing. Oh, come on, you have to take a smoke sometime. I said, when I decide I want black lungs, I'll take a smoke. Oh, you're all hung up on this. No, I said, I really do. Because, see, I made a decision that I'm going to live healthily. And so I'm in better shape than you are because I made a decision to do that. You're just coasting. You're not going to do anything. So you get sick and you see the doctor. When I was in third grade, I said to my teacher, say, when do we start learning how to be healthy? How to take care of our body? Where are we going to learn this? When do we start? Oh, well, she said, don't worry about that. She said, we have a doctor, and if we get sick, he'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. No, I said, before we get to the doctor, how do we take care of our health? What do we need? You know, how does it all work? How does our body work so we don't have to get sick? Oh, dear, she said, I never had to ask me that. She said, oh, I have to go to the big library and get some books. Good, do that. I want some books to read. So she brought me some physiology books, anatomy books, all things about health and nutrition. I started reading. So I just a natural course of events. By the time I was 9, I became a vegetarian. You can't be otherwise if you study all information about health. You study all things about sickness and disease. You're going to be so astounded you want to avoid all of it. So how do you do it? The same way these primitive people do. They eat the right food. They get their rest. They don't have electricity. Can you imagine there's no electricity today? Like almost no bonkers, would you? Because you're so dependent on it. You see? But see, if you had to, could you? You know, it should be something to consider. You'd have to go to bed with the chickens and get up with the roosters, right? You wouldn't have any electricity. See? I lived that way for 10 years. I know how it works. Real well. Well, if you take the premise that we're really the byproduct of our lifestyle, then how do we account for the fact that these diseases are increasing? Heart disease is on the increase. Cancer is on the increase. Diabetes on the increase. Yeah. And we have digestive disorders. We have mental disorders. All on the increase. How do we account? We have more doctors now. We have more drugs now. We have more patent medicines. I mean, all these things are multi-billion-dollar businesses. And how is it helping us? It hasn't. It hasn't. So we need to check in, and do a little inventory, and get on track. See, we need to function with ourselves. And you can tailor-make your program to adapt to your needs. You know, you don't have to be radical, fanatical. This isn't the issue. You know, that's not the issue. Make a change, a few changes here and there. In over a year's time. It's amazing antibiotics are working. No, he said, I stopped taking those. He said, what are you doing? He said, I'm taking Golden Seal. You ever heard of that? The doctor said, well, I never heard of that. What is it? He said, what's an herb? Oh, he said, that stuff never works. Well, he just had the paper that said the stem rate was down, the bacteria was down, and he was feeling better, and the pain was gone. But that doesn't work. Well, what does work? You see? What he was doing wasn't working. And so there are natural things you can take, don't cost much, do it yourself, be your own doctor. And in just a few weeks, he was okay. Then he was sorry he had to retire, going back to work. So you see, there are things that we can do that don't cost hardly anything, but a little bit of knowledge, we can take care of ourselves. And do that very effectively. Where a doctor need not even said, I know you have faith. You're a good believing Catholic. That's fine. Wonderful. He said, this little prayer. And every time you want to take a drink now, you eat a grapefruit. Feel like an orange, eat some of that white on it. And in the 7 days, I'll give you 7 days, you'll be over this habit of alcohol. You'll never want another drink as long as you live. I'll guarantee it. Because it's a natural remedy. And I believe that God honors those natural remedies that He's put in front of our face. We do. Boy, he said, that's awful simple. He said, you think that's going to work? Now you see, I said, I just know exactly what I'm telling you. You've got to have faith to do it. You've got to have faith to do it. And if you do it, it works. Now that's not disallowing for what the grapefruit should do. Because you know it's like anything else. You can do everything right. If you don't believe in it, how much benefit has it been to you? Only minimum. The max is you put yourself into it and do it. So okay, so you call in the morning, you say, boy, really haven't had a drink this morning. I said, that's right. I know you do. But have you said your prayer? And have you had your grapefruit? No, he said, I haven't. I said, well, that's how you're going to start. What do you expect? I know you want to drink. Do you know it too? But we also know something else. You have something about it. Went on for 4 or 5 days. 5th morning he woke up, called me up, he says, I can't believe what's happened to me. I said, what happened to you? He said, well, this morning, I didn't want to drink. He said, I even pinched myself. I got up and walked around. I looked in the mirror. He said, I know I'm still alive. He said, it's almost unreal that I didn't want to drink this morning. He said, I can't believe it. I said, you better start believing it. He's got 2 more days of grapefruits. 7 days. Well, it's only the 5th day. Oh, he said, those grapefruits. No more of those. He said, no more of those. You know how bitter that stuff is? Oh, I said, now you're tasting that. Probably the first 5 days you never tasted it. He said, come and think, but I didn't. But he said, this morning, he said, April, before I called you, he said, it was terrible. I said, it's supposed to be that way. Okay, 2 more days of grapefruits. I said, I'm going to come over, and you and your wife and your 2 children and I are going to have the last drink together. Oh, no, he said. I said, oh, yes. We're going to have it's going to be a grapefruit juice cocktail, and you can have a Martian cherry if you want. So I went over, and that's what we did. We had a wonderful time. So he says, oh, now I'm cured. I said, cured of what? He said, I don't have a desire for alcohol. He says, it's gone. Matter of fact, he said, the guardian man says, oh, now, Joe, don't worry. We knew this would happen to you. It happens to a lot of people who drink a lot. He said, you'll get over that. He said, we'll bring, if you want to take the alcohol away. He said, sure, Joe, we'll put it right in my garage, and when you call me up, I'll bring it right over here. I know how that can happen. He said, I've been through, and you see what happened. They wanted to convince him that he wasn't what? What's wrong? Joe said, oh, no, I'm through with that. You can take it right along. You'll never bring back this house. So he said to me, well, now I'm cured. No, I said, you're not cured. I said, you don't have to go to AA and have AA tell you that you're alcoholic. Because when the Lord takes care of your problem, He takes care of it right. And there's the flip side of the coin that says, now, as long as you help somebody else, like you got help, you'll always stay off. But when you stop doing that, then you go back to alcohol. Because you have nothing else to go back to. You see? Because you haven't figured out how to integrate this new life with all your habits. See? All your habits don't involve alcohol. Before everybody comes here, you offer them a drink. Now what you're going to do when they come over here, you're going to say, hey, look what I got off alcohol. See? And so, 20-some years later, my wife called the college where my son was going to be going, and the registrar at that college worked the lumber yard. He came to college a couple years after we left. And he delivered some lumber over to this man. And this man told his story that he already helped 22 of his friends off alcohol. And he said, I'm staying off alcohol as long as I live. I'm going to keep helping people as long as I live. Was he cured? Of course he was cured. He never took another drink as long as he lived. Now that's the way it is when you change your lifestyle. You see, you change your lifestyle, it's no problem. No, that's not a handicap. Just the way you really want to live and be healthy. You see. So that's what we want to inspire you with. Now we have some other things. People say, well, what vitamins or what things can I take that I can take on my own so we finally found a company. They put out the barley green and different things that takes care of the intestine. These are all what we call phytochemical phyto-food processed. Totally organic, totally homely food. There's not a bunch of chemicals. And so we feel very comfortable telling you this is available. You can send Wife Claudia, she can give you some information about how to get it if you want. And we feel safe with that. Over the years, it's been hard for us to say, take this, take that, because there's so many companies that put out so many vitamins, so many pills, so many of this, so many of that, and everybody's confused. Who knows what to take? And I look in the office with a whole shopping bag, 15, 20 bottles to take, because they read about this, they read about that, taking this, and taking that. And it really isn't fair to treat your body like that. Because how do you know you're going to hit what's really wrong? How do you know you're going to build up what's really needed to be built up in your system? You don't really know that. But if you take a food that is classified as food, then you're pretty sure you'll get the help you need. So a lot of problems can be alleviated that way. All right, now we've left a little bit of time here. Do you have any questions about what we said so far? Yes.
When you talked about being vegetarian, were you talking also about having animal products in your
Right.
foods?
That's what we're talking about.
No dairy,
No dairy. Right.
no
I
dairy.
used to milk cows for 7 years, every morning and night, never drank an ounce of milk. Exactly right. So basically, what we're talking about is eating plant food. Plant food. That's what it says in the Bible. After sin came, you're supposed to eat the herb of the field. Now, the herb of the field are vegetables. And the Norwegian calls them vegetables. That's what they are. Those are herbs as well, because they grow in the field.
Aren't there passages in the Bible that refer to consuming meat?
Yes, there are. And that's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
I've had people bring that up to me when I was trying to convince them of vegetarian diet.
Exactly. See, after the flood, there wasn't very much vegetation for a while. So they were going to need animals. But the little thing went with that, little bonus went with it. Said, I'm going to require of every animal their blood at your hand. And so what that meant was that blood of that animal, that fat of that animal, you see, was really never to be eaten. Because the blood is carried in disease is carried in the blood. And the fat will contribute to the circulation deficit that creates a problem. And if you look how the Lord took care of that, he dealt with it with the children of Israel. He told them that the fat and the blood is mine. You can't eat that. You know, the fat and the blood is offerings. See, it's burned up. You can't eat that. And the Jews today, the Orthodox Jews today, don't eat the fat of the blood. They'll soak the meat in salt water, all this good stuff. They'll get all the blood out of it. And they do a lot of herbal preparation with it. That's a laborious process cooking meat the Jewish way. But the Orthodox Jew today knows how to eat meat. Doesn't taste very good. They deviated some. But back in those days compared to these days, meat is not an argument. Because the animals are fed today with so many chemicals, and they're so sick. Pardon my using that word expression for animals sick, they are. They get everything you can take. 85% of the things that's wrong with us as humans comes from the animal kingdom. So why keep cycling that kind of illness or wellness? Okay? So we say that's no argument. Because you can't find enough healthy animals to make that point stick. Okay? So that's what we tell people, and it's actually fact. It's actually fact. 85% of the cows that we treat, 85% of the conditions we treat in our offices are from animals consumption. And if the vegetarian, a lot of things just clear by itself. Digestive disorders, headaches, high blood pressure, hypertension, I can name 100 conditions. Will just clear by just changing the diet. Give it time. Okay? Another question? Another question? Yes.
This doesn't really relate to what we've been talking
story short, he decided he'd follow the program. And he was eating 2 quarts of ice cream a night, watching the ball game. You know. He said, no, that's not sugar, is it? No, I said, that's not sugar. It's ice cream that's made with sugar. There's a difference. But it's still, well, sugar, right? You can't have that. Oh, man, it's not what it really does. No, you're going to be just fine. I'll give you 4 months, and you'll be just fine. Well, in 3 months, he was just fine. He even grew all new nails, and all new toenails, and no more psoriasis. He's like a pink newborn kid. So I sent him back to the hospital to see what they would say about all that. And they said, well, what have you been doing? How does this happen? They told him what he was taking. He said, well, I said, 1 every 300, 1,000 people reverse like that. Yes, how come it didn't do it for 15 years? Well, we don't know. Yeah.
What is it about the pork that gave you the condition?
Well, see, pork and sugar, his peripheral circulation was totally, you might say, wiped out. He didn't have hardly any peripheral circulation. He couldn't hardly feel with his hands. He couldn't hardly feel. That's how bad it was. So that stops his whole circulation train, all the sugar and all the pork. The pork stimulates those kind of skin problems. People with severe skin, I don't know whether it's allergy or eczema, whatever it is, we tell them, no pork. So anyway, that cleaned up this case. I had another one just about like that, many years ago, that he called up. She said, do you treat psoriasis? I said, who has psoriasis? It's my daughter. And she's getting married in 2 weeks. And she has systemic psoriasis all over her body. She wears high necks, long sleeves, long pants, bandana. Her boyfriend has never seen anything of her except her hands and her face. He said that if he sees her, just her arm exposed, he'll probably go the other direction. I said, well, in 2 weeks, I don't know. Let's see what we can do. Bring her in. You could look at her. Sure enough, she was covered. All of her back, her legs, her breast, chest, waist. She was covered. Big. Just total. So we had our girls just give her hot fomentations, an hour treatment, every day for 10 days. And then we prepared a whole dish of crepes. You know what crepes are? Crepes are little thin pancakes you make out of some kind of little apparatus, just to pick them up. You just put your hand underneath there. There's a big patch of skin. We had a whole big platter of her skin in 10 days. Just all came off. She shed her skin. It all loosened up. So take it all off. And in 11 days, she lost all the stuff that was in her hair. And by 12 days, she was brand new. Didn't have a speck of psoriasis on her. So when she got married, 2 days later, her husband says, how come you're so pink? I never saw anything pink like that, an adult pink like you are. Well, she said, I was just born again to be married. Well, she told the story. I told her, I said, I'm not a prophet, I'll make a prediction. I told you, no sugar, no pork. As long as you stay with that, I don't think you'll ever get psoriasis back. If you go back eating pork or sugar, you'll get it. 3.5 years went by. She called me up and she said, oh, Dr. Hurt, I got a problem. Yeah, I said, how'd the pork taste? She said, how'd you know? I said, I know. She said, yep, what happened? My husband brought home a piece of bacon, said the best bacon he's ever seen. He just hadn't had a taste of it. She had a piece of bacon, a little sausage, and an egg. Next morning, both elbows had red spots on them. And in a week, I had psoriasis on my both elbows and a spot right at the top of my head. I said, well, that spot on top of your head is close enough to the brain to make you feel like you still got it, right? So he said, should I come in for treatment? Well, I said, I'll tell you, if you don't eat it ever again, you probably won't get any worse. So I'm keeping it as a reminder. I've seen her dad off and on, and he told me she still gets, every now and again, she gets a little flare up on her elbows, a little spot on top of it. But she doesn't eat sugar or pork, unless it's hidden in the food, but nothing overtly. So these things work. But I believe that the Lord really helps us understand how important that is. You can't play games with him. He knows how you think, right? And if he says the natural remedy take care of your problem, hey, who do you respect for that? You don't thank Dr. Don't thank me. Good Lord made you well. I didn't. All I did was just help you get rid of some of the things that were bothering you with something that was already there you could do. You see? You could have done it for yourself. So that's the catch. That's the catch. That's what we have to look at. be high in the top end necessarily, more 140, 150, but that low end creeps out. You got 90 on a lot, or 100 on a lot. See? And then you'll find that the intake of sugar, the intake of fat, is higher than their body can tolerate. See? And so we have a gentleman just a little while ago came in and he was marginal on his eye test for driving. And so he had to repeat it 3 months, and if he passed, he'd give his license, for another year or 2. And so he came to see us, and we treated him with, we saw him, he had hypertension, like I'm saying, and he was eating a lot of sweets, eating a lot of pastries. His wife couldn't cook, made a lot of cakes, pies, all this kind of thing, cookies. He was retired, and we took him off all that, and gave him bilberry, the herb bilberry. And we gave him some barley green. Yes, we did. We gave him barley green. And he went back to his test, passed with flying colors. And I said, now you got to go back to the ophthalmologist and get another look at the granulation to see if it's still progressing. And it had a red. It had a red. In other words, it didn't look like there was anything active. You see? So, as far as healing up a problem like that, you got to remember that's based on capillary circulation and diffusion circulation. Not any major artery going there with a big branch. It's a real tiny. And it's regulated by pressure. See, that's what his ocular pressure was. And his ocular pressure reduced 4 numbers. From like 22 to 18. You see? And so there was a good amount of changes in his whole system. He felt better and the whole thing. Passed his test.
How did you treat his hypertension then, just with the brown and green?
Oh, we with barley green, and then we have some EPAs that we use, unsaturated fatty acids. Unsaturated fatty acids. They're still a form of fat, but they're unsaturated. We can put that with his food every